Hello and welcome to Yoga with Alicia, this YouTube channel bringing you quality content for yoga guidance and tuition. Bearing in mind as well that I'm not just a yoga guide or instructor, I'm actually experiencing it firsthand, practicing alongside all of you. So today we are bringing together the 5 moves that we have practiced in this week. To start, come down to a comfortable seat, cross-legged. Now, if cross-legged position is still remaining uncomfortable for you, then have a kneeling position, or for this preliminary posture, you could even have your legs straight out in front of you. You can have a cushion underneath your buttocks if it helps make it a little more comfortable. So let's take a moment to tune in to the breath. To find our foundation, our 2 buttocks firmly placed in the ground beneath us, and to rise up from there, lifting the flesh, lifting and rising internally, scooping upward. Keep your shoulders nice and relaxed and away from the ears. Unclench your teeth and just let the breath flow. Do have that observational eye that you are allowing the breath to flow continually, because concentration, as we know, can sometimes make us hold the breath, and we really want to avoid that. Let's now begin. So we're going to bring our left hand beside us, just away from the left hip. And it doesn't have to be too far away to begin with. You want to take it nice and slowly and steadily. You're going to tune in to the trunk of the body and make it feel upright, like a pillar. You're rising up, sitting tall. You're going to breathe in, and from the right hip, you're going to lift the flesh up to the right armpit. As you raise the right arm, the right hand, it's all lifting up, and then you're going to walk those left fingers out a little way, and you will find the point of the position that remains comfortable, that you can hold comfortably and breathe into and breathe out of the position. You're not going to go too far too soon. I'm only moving further into the position as a guide to show what you can aim for, and indeed there'll probably be many of you that can already get to this position, so practice nice and deep. Ensure both sitting bones are still connected with the mat. As you laterally flex to one side, you will find that one of the buttocks wants to try and lift up away from the ground, but avoid this. So if it means you coming out of the position a little more to keep that lovely base seat connected, then do so, and perhaps work on stretching through this right side of the body, from hip to armpit, and the skin at the front of the body, and the flesh at the back of the body. Everything's included. It's a full, total body experience. Watch out for allowing that raised elbow to drop forward. You actually want to keep that elbow back and aligned with the ear. You can always move that scapula, the right scapula, the shoulder blade, get it back, and then engage in the stomach to come up to your neutral central position, and preparing for the other side. So the right fingertips will just walk away from the right hip slightly. The left hand will begin to raise up. As it's raising up, you're already thinking, sending a message down to the left hip to lift away from the femur bone, to get the flesh there rising up, so that you get this lovely flowing movement. It's a transition. As one part lifts, that above it follows suit. Also whilst pressing down into your foundation. So if you're still at the lower elements of the posture here, that's still fantastic, because you are still receiving stretch. Information from the mind to the body is being given, is being received. So allow that to happen, and that could take days and weeks and months. Indeed, it's still happening. As much as I am guiding and teaching you, I too am still experiencing in this moment the communication that is going on. Remembering all these aspects of the deep fullness of the position. And always returning to the breath. And then engaging the stomach, the support for the spine to come back to neutral. And now we're going to move into the forward flexion with a twist. So we'll bring our right forearm in front of us. We want to keep it nice and level. And whilst we are transitioning, we are continually having that lift with every inhalation on all parts of the body, wherever it needs it. And then to the exhalation, it's the surrender, the softening. Remember, you can rest the forearm here, as the previous video taught. If you can get further, it's going to come down to the floor. Be aware if the ego is trying to bring you down to get to a greater position than your ability is, and your hand's down but your elbow isn't down, pick the hand up. You want this whole part of the arm to reach the floor at one time, at the same time. Left hand is on the left inner thigh. Nice deep breath in. And then you begin that twist, that rotation. And you can leave the left hand where it is and just turn through the spine and turn the neck, the head to look up, or you can raise the hand up if you like, or you can have the left hand onto the shoulder and lift the elbow. Unclench your teeth, tune in, awaken and engage all parts that are going to assist with the posture, with the flow of the movement. Let's go to the other side. We've got our left arm now nice and parallel to the ground. We're thinking of that lift, of the ascension, of sitting tall and then hinging. The origin of the position coming from deep down in the hips. Remember, you can place that arm into the crook of the legs. Remember also that if need be, you can choose to uncross and recross the legs. Let's not forget that. Observation is a main key to successful transition, growth, repair, maintenance. Your continued perseverance and practice is going to bring results. Remember, you can raise that right arm up, the hand going up to the ceiling, reaching up, elevating from right hip all the way up to the fingertips. Or if that's a little bit too much for you too soon, those right fingers can rest on the shoulder and you can work on pointing the elbow up to the ceiling first and foremost. And in time, the hand will follow, it will release, it will rise. And coming out of the rotation nice and gently, and then engaging the core of you as you return to neutral. And now from here, we'll do the backward flexion of the spine. So we'll take a lovely inspiration and we'll elevate. We'll release our hands and we'll take them round behind us to place the hands behind their respective buttock. And already your shoulders are coming back, your chest is opening. Think about getting your shoulder blades even closer together, expanding across front of torso. Think of pulling up pubis to navel, rise up from deep down at the perineum, all the way up, through to the crown of the head. And this natural unfolding, this organic back flexing will take place because as the shoulders go back and the chest opens, the chin wants to rise, the head wants to drop back. And whilst in the fullness of the posture, enjoy a couple of rounds of extra long breathing. Ensure that your exhalations are full, conscious, complete. And then you'll engage once again with the spine and the stomach to help restack and realign into your central position, into neutral. And now we'll do the wonderful transition from tabletop to child's pose, which can almost be akin to the bellows. Remember those bellows around a fireplace? You'd squeeze together and the air would come out the other end and it would whoosh in and get the flames to rise. That's what it's akin to doing now with our body in this very simple transition between two postures. So bring ourselves into tabletop, coming round onto hands and knees. Remember the placement. You want the hands directly beneath the shoulders. You want the knees directly beneath the hips. You want to be pressing the floor, the ground away from you so that energy is rising up through your arms. You want to be lifting the tummy, pulling the belly button to the spine so that you're not collapsing down in the trunk of the body. Let's have a breath in through the nose. And as we breathe out, let's stretch the buttocks back to the heels of the feet, and let's really stretch through those arms and hands as well as the trunk of the body comes down to the thighs, forehead to the mat. End of the breath is now exiting, ready to breathe in and come back to tabletop position. Breathe out. Child pose. Breathe in, tabletop position. Breathe out, child pose. And as you get your forehead to the mat, soften the shoulders. Breathe in as you realign to tabletop. One last time as you push those buttocks back towards the heels of your feet and really stretch through the arms, through to the fingers, relax the shoulders. And then the breath in brings you back to tabletop. And from there, let's just walk the fingers, the hands in towards the knees. Check the stomach is still securely supporting the spine as you come back to a kneeling position. And we're coming to the final pose already of a balance, a nice balance. This is the balance on our sit bones. So gently and slowly bring the knees to bend in front of you, bring the feet to connect with the mat. Take a moment to adjust and adapt to once again being on your buttocks rather than on your hands and knees. And have that moment to lift up through the torso, through the trunk of the body, and to pull the pubis up towards the navel internally. You're going to bring the arms underneath the hamstrings, and you can connect one hand round the opposite wrist, and then you're just going to take the weight of your head and shoulders back beyond the hips whilst pushing the chest and the heart space forward towards the thighs. You're going to drop your shoulders away from your ears. Maybe again think about drawing those scapular bones, your shoulder blades towards each other, pretty much what we were doing in the backward flexion. You want your chin parallel with the mat, the ground, the teeth unclenched, and the skin on the face nice and soft. You take a breath in and let those toes rise up toward knee level or eye level. If you can take them higher, straighten the legs, fantastic. You might want to unclasp and reclasp in the opposite direction. You might be able to take the hands away and alternately bend and straighten. The whole time, always being aware of lifting the chest and the heart space up and forwards so that it can counterbalance your weight. As much weight as you've got going that way, you've got this way. You might want to clasp around the shins, drop those shoulders down. If you can, you might want to grab hold of the feet. And remember, when you extend a leg, it's always upon exhalation. The extension comes upon exhalation. No judgment if you're not at this point immediately. As human beings, we seem to want everything immediately. Where's the patience in that? Gently bring yourself round to a finishing pose, whether that be cross-legged, kneeling, coming to sit into a chair. It's just those moments now of pulling it all together. Closing the eyes, tuning in, and just observing how you feel internally and externally, mentally, physically, spiritually. Bring the hands together at the heart, the place of all truth. Give yourself thanks. Smile for your spirit and your soul. We look forward to seeing you next time. Namaste.